My girlfriend screamed, "You ruined my birthday surprise." I said, "What surprise?" Then her best friend accidentally revealed the surprise was her ex proposing to her at MY party. When I played the text messages on the projector, I, 29 male, have been with my girlfriend for 2 years. We moved in together 8 months ago, and I genuinely thought we were heading towards something permanent. Shows what I know. Her birthday was last Saturday. I've been planning this party for 6 weeks. Rented out the back room at this craft brewery she loves, hired a DJ friend to handle the music, coordinated with her coworkers and college friends to make sure everyone could come. Dropped close to $3 grand total because I wanted it to be special. Here's where things get weird. About 2 weeks before the party, my girlfriend started acting strange. Secretive phone calls, stepping outside to text, getting defensive when I asked what was up. She kept saying she was planning something special for her birthday and didn't want to spoil it. I figured maybe she was organizing something with her friends that she wanted to surprise me with. Like a couple's thing after the main party. Sweet, right? Wrong. 3 days before the party, her best friend came over to help me with decorations. My girlfriend was at work, and her best friend was supposed to be coordinating the guest list with me. We were going through RSVPs when she got a text and laughed. "Oh my God, he's so nervous," she said, still looking at her phone. "Who's nervous?" She looked up at me like a deer in headlights. Nobody. Just a friend. A friend who's nervous about what? She tried to backpedal, but she's a terrible liar. Always has been. Her face went red, and she started stammering about how it was nothing and not her place to say. I pushed. Gently at first, then more directly. Finally, she cracked. "Okay, but you cannot tell her I told you. She'll kill me." "Tell me what?" "Her ex is coming to the party, and he's going to propose." I honestly thought I'd misheard her. "I'm sorry, what?" "They've been talking again for like 2 months. She said they realized they never should have broken up. He's going to do this whole big thing at the party, get down on one knee during the cake cutting. She's been helping him plan it." I just sat there, couldn't even process it. "She was going to tell you after." Her best friend continued, like that made it better. "Like right after." She said it would be easier if everyone was already there, so you couldn't make a scene. So she was going to accept a proposal from her ex-boyfriend at the birthday party I planned and paid for, in front of all our mutual friends. And then what? I'm supposed to just clap? Her best friend at least had the decency to look uncomfortable. I told her it was messed up, but she said you'd understand eventually. That you two were more like roommates anyway. Roommates. 2 years together. Moving in. Meeting each other's families. Roommates. I didn't say anything else. Just told her I needed some air and went for a drive. That night, I couldn't sleep. My girlfriend came home around 11, kissed me on the cheek, and went straight to bed like nothing was wrong. I lay there for hours trying to figure out what to do. Here's the thing. I'm not a confrontational person. My first instinct was honestly just to cancel the party and break up with her quietly. Save myself the embarrassment. But then I thought about the $3 grand. The 6 weeks of planning. The way she'd been lying to my face while I ironed out catering details and designed custom invitations. The fact that she thought so little of me that she assumed I'd just accept being publicly humiliated. By morning, I had a plan. The next day, while she was at work, I went through her laptop. Yeah, I know, invasion of privacy. But I think we're past that at this point. Her iMessage syncs to her MacBook. She'd never logged out. I found everything. 2 months of messages with her ex. The whole story was there. How they'd reconnected at a mutual friend's wedding in March. How she'd been sneaking around to see him. How she convinced herself I was too stable and too predictable and that she needed passion again. And the proposal plan. In detail. He was going to interrupt the cake cutting, give this speech about how they were meant to be, and ask her to marry him. She'd already helped him pick out the ring. There were photos of her trying it on. I screenshotted everything. Then I rented a projector. The party was in 3 days. I had work to do. Update, posted the night of the party. Holy crap, you guys. I don't even know where to start. First, somebody called me out for going through her laptop. Fair. But also, I think we can agree the circumstances were exceptional. So here's what happened. I spent the next 3 days acting completely normal. Finished the party prep, confirmed catering, sent final reminders to guests. My girlfriend kept making these little comments about how memorable the night was going to be, and I just smiled and agreed. The ex was on the guest list under the name College Friend. She'd added him herself about a month ago when I asked her to help finalize numbers. I'd assumed he was one of her sorority friends' boyfriends or something. Never questioned it. Party day arrived. The brewery looked amazing. Twinkle lights, photo booth, custom banner that said, "Cheers to 30." She was turning 30, big milestone. About 60 people showed up. My girlfriend was glowing, like genuinely radiating excitement. At the time, I thought it was because she was touched by the party. Now, I know she was just counting down to her big moment. The ex arrived around 8 p.m. I recognized him from old photos, tall, worked out, one of those guys who wears too much cologne and calls everyone bro. He made eye contact with my girlfriend across the room, and they did this weird little nod thing, like spies confirming a mission. I'd set up the projector earlier that day. Told the venue it was for a slideshow of birthday photos, which technically wasn't a lie. I made a legit slideshow too. It was queued up right after my other presentation. Around 9:30, the DJ announced it was time for cake. Everyone gathered around. My girlfriend was practically vibrating. The ex started making his way through the crowd toward the front. That's when I grabbed the mic. Before we do the cake, I actually put together a little something. A tribute to the birthday girl and our relationship. My girlfriend's face did this weird thing. Half panic, half confusion. She hadn't expected me to do anything public. "Babe, you don't have to." No, I insist. Everyone should see this. I clicked the remote. The projector lit up. First slide, a screenshot of her text with her ex. The one where she called me boring and said I was more like a roommate than a boyfriend. The room went dead silent. Second slide, the messages planning the proposal. Her saying she couldn't wait, him asking if she was sure about doing it this way. Third slide, the photo of her trying on the engagement ring, with a date stamp from 3 weeks ago. So, I said into the mic, "Happy birthday. I think your surprise is going to need a new venue." My girlfriend just stood there, mouth open for what felt like forever. Then she started screaming. Not words at first, just this high-pitched sound of pure rage. "You ruined everything. You ruined my birthday surprise." "What surprise?" I asked, genuinely curious about her spin. "The one where your ex proposes to you at the party I paid for." The ex, credit where it's due, try to play it cool. "Bro, this is between you and her. I don't want any trouble." "Then maybe don't plan to propose to someone else's girlfriend at their boyfriend's party." Just a thought. Her best friend was crying in the corner. A couple of my girlfriend's coworkers were already grabbing their coats. Her mother was there, just kept saying, "Oh my God," over and over. My girlfriend finally found her words. "You went through my phone? You violated my privacy. Your laptop, actually." "And yeah, I did. Because you were planning to publicly humiliate me in front of everyone I know. So I figured turnabout was fair play." "This is insane." "You're insane. I was going to tell you." "When?" "After you said yes? After everyone clapped?" "When exactly was the plan to mention you'd been cheating on me for 2 months?" She didn't have an answer for that. The next part happened fast. The ex tried to slip out, but a couple of my friends blocked the door. Not physically, just positioned themselves in a way that made it awkward. He ended up standing there looking at his shoes while my girlfriend melted down. Her mother finally intervened. "Okay, everyone needs to calm down. This is clearly a misunderstanding." "What's to misunderstand?" "Your daughter has been cheating on me and planned to accept another man's proposal at my party. Those texts are pretty clear." She was confused. She didn't know what she wanted. She knew enough to pick out a ring. That shut her mother up. I handed my girlfriend's keys back to her. The apartment keys, the car key, she'd borrow my spare, everything. "I'll have your stuff packed by Monday. You can pick it up after 6 p.m. Don't bother coming back before then." She started crying. Real tears, finally. Where am I supposed to go? I looked at the ex, who was still trying to disappear into the wall. "I'm sure he has room." Then I walked out. Party cost me $3,000. Best money I ever spent. Update 2, 4 days later. Okay, so the fallout has been a lot. First, let me address some questions from the comments. Yes, the apartment is in my name only. She moved in with me, never got added to the lease. Yes, I know that's legally complicated in some states, but I checked with a lawyer friend, and in our state, she has no tenant rights after I gave her written notice, which I did via text that night. No, I didn't keep the projector. It was a rental. Now for the updates. My ex showed up Monday to get her stuff. She didn't come alone, brought her mother, her sister, and the ex-boyfriend, which felt like a bold choice. I'd packed everything neatly. Boxes labeled, clothes folded, even wrapped her fragile stuff in newspaper. I'm petty, but I'm not destructive. She walked in and immediately started crying. I can't believe you're doing this to me. Doing what? Letting you leave with your belongings? Seems pretty standard. Her mother jumped in. You humiliated her in front of everyone she knows. Her co-workers were there. Her boss was there. Her boss was at her birthday party. They're close. Cool. Well, her boss now knows she's a cheater. That's not really my problem. The ex-boyfriend kept trying to hurry things along. Can we just grab the boxes and go? This is uncomfortable. Oh, is it uncomfortable for you? Standing in the apartment of the guy whose girlfriend you were sneaking around with? Yeah, I bet it is. He didn't respond. My ex tried one more play while they were loading boxes. Pulled me aside, lowered her voice, went full sad eyes mode. I know I messed up, she said, but we had something real. Don't you want to at least talk about it? We had 2 years. I was going to propose next month. Her face went white. What? I had a ring. Had a whole plan. Was going to do it at that little Italian place we went on our first date. But I guess you beat me to the proposal thing. Just with a different guy. She started crying again. Her mother called me cruel. Her sister said I was emotionally abusive for not giving her a chance to explain. Explain what? The 2 months of texts? The ring shopping? The plan to humiliate me in front of 60 people? What part needs explaining? They left after that. Took about an hour to load everything into the ex-boyfriend's SUV. Very romantic. But here's where it gets interesting. The next day, I started getting messages from her friends. Not apologies, accusations. Apparently, my ex had been telling people a very different version of events. In her version, I hacked her phone and fabricated the screenshots. I was controlling and possessive, and she'd been planning to leave me anyway. The proposal thing was taken out of context. Out of context? How do you take, yes, I'll marry you out of context? Her best friend, the one who originally told me everything, actually reached out to apologize. Said she felt terrible about how it all went down and that she never should have been part of the plan. I told her I appreciated the apology, but that we probably shouldn't stay in contact. Too messy. Then came the mutual friend situation. We had a lot of overlap in our social circles. Some people sided with me immediately. They'd seen the slideshow, they knew what happened. Others were more hesitant, especially the ones who only heard her version. I didn't try to convince anyone. Just said, the screenshots are real. Anyone who wants to see them can see them. Beyond that, believe whatever you want. About half her mutual friends stopped talking to me. The other half stopped talking to her. Pretty clean split, honestly. But the part that really got me was her family's response. Her mother called me 3 times the day after the move out. I didn't answer. She left voicemails ranging from "we need to discuss this like adults" to "you've destroyed my daughter's life" to "if you share those screenshots publicly, we'll sue." Sue me for what? Showing real text messages? Good luck with that. Her father, who I'd actually liked, sent me a single text. "I'm disappointed in how you handled this." That one stung more than the rest. But here's the kicker. Yesterday, I got a message from one of her coworkers, the one who'd been at the party. Apparently, the ex-boyfriend had dumped her. Not immediately. He stuck around for about 48 hours after the party. But then he sat her down and said he needed to think about things. That the whole situation had made him realize she might not be the stable partner he was looking for. Stable. The guy literally planned to propose to another man's girlfriend at that man's party, and he's worried about stability. So now my ex is single, publicly humiliated, and according to the coworker, spiraling. Part of me feels bad. A small part. The rest of me remembers that she called me boring, that she thought so little of me, she assumed I'd just accept being humiliated, that she was willing to destroy 2 years for passion. She got her passion. Hope it was worth it. Update 3. Final, 3 weeks later. So this is the last update. Things have mostly settled, and I think I've processed enough to close this chapter. Let me catch you up on the final pieces. The screenshot situation resolved itself in an unexpected way. Her mother's threats about suing went nowhere. Turns out you can't really sue someone for sharing truthful information, especially when they shared it privately rather than posting it online. I never put anything on social media. The people who saw the projector slideshow are the only ones who saw those texts. But word travels. That's just how it works when 60 people witness something like that. My ex's professional situation got complicated. She works in marketing at a mid-sized company, and apparently the optics of having your boss watch you get exposed as a cheater at your birthday party aren't great. She wasn't fired. That would probably be illegal. But for what I've heard through mutual connections, she's been quietly moved to a different team. Less client-facing work. Fewer visible projects. Not my doing. Just consequences. The ex-boyfriend drama continued for about another week after he dumped her. She apparently tried to win him back, sent long emotional texts, showed up at his apartment once. He told her to stop contacting him or he'd file for a restraining order. Restraining order. From the guy who was going to marry her. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Her family finally stopped trying to contact me after I sent her mother a very polite, very firm message explaining that any further communication would be considered harassment and documented accordingly. Lawyer friend helped me draft it. Very effective. The split in our friend group has mostly solidified. I lost about a dozen people who either believed her version or just didn't want to pick sides. I kept maybe 15 who saw what happened and made their own judgments. It's weird, losing mutual friends. You don't realize how much of your social life is built on couple logistics until the couple doesn't exist anymore. Dinner parties, game nights, weekend plans, all of it restructured around who's speaking to whom. But honestly, the friends I kept are better. They're the ones who reached out individually to check on me, who offered to help me rearrange furniture or go grab dinner when the apartment felt too quiet. Quality over quantity. Now for the emotional stuff, since some of you asked. The first week after the party was rough. Like really rough. I come home to an apartment that still smelled like her shampoo and had to resist the urge to text her. 2 years of habit doesn't disappear overnight. I found myself going through our old photos sometimes. Not to torture myself, just trying to figure out when things changed. When she went from the person I loved to the person who could plan something like that. I don't think there was a single moment. I think she just wanted something I couldn't give her, and instead of being honest about it, she convinced herself that I somehow deserved what she was doing. That's the thing about cheaters. They always find a way to make it the other person's fault. The ring I bought is still in my sock drawer. I should probably return it. The jeweler has a 90-day policy, and I'm coming up on that. But every time I think about going back to that store, I just can't. Maybe next week. Some of you have asked if I regret the projector thing. If maybe I went too far. Here's my honest answer. I don't know. Was it satisfying in the moment? Absolutely. Watching her face as those screenshots lit up the wall. Watching the ex realize he'd walked into a trap. Watching everyone put together what was happening. That felt like justice. But was also cruel. I know that. I took a private betrayal and made it public. I didn't just break up with her. I made sure everyone knew why. There's a vindictive edge to that, and I'm not entirely comfortable with what it says about me. Then again, she was going to accept another man's proposal at my party, in front of my friends, using an event I planned and paid for. If I'd just quietly broken up with her, she'd have told everyone some version where she was the victim. At least this way, the truth is out there. I don't think there was a right way to handle this. Just different kinds of wrong. As for what's next, I'm focusing on work. Picked up some extra projects, started going back to the coffee shop I stopped visiting because it was our spot. Reclaiming territory, I guess. I'm not ready to date again. Not even close. The idea of trusting someone that way, of building something just to watch it collapse, I can't do that right now. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, maybe never. But I'm okay. Genuinely okay. The apartment is quieter, but it's mine. The friend group is smaller, but they're real. The future is uncertain, but at least it's honest. That's more than I can say for the last 2 years. Thanks for following along. You all were weirdly helpful during the worst experience of my life. Internet strangers coming through, I guess. Take care of yourselves. Trust your gut when something feels off. And maybe don't date people who keep their exes on speed dial. That's the end of the story.